Hi everyone, welcome to the Busselton Jetty. My name is Amy and I am here to talk to you guys today about our oceans. Right now, I am standing inside the underwater observatory, which is at the end of the Busselton Jetty. So what that means is right now, I'm underwater, but I am not getting wet. How cool is that? So we're going to do a little video now about our oceans right across planet Earth, and then we're going to find out a little bit more about the amazing creatures that live here beneath the Busselton Jetty. So our amazing planet Earth is often called the blue planet. Now I wonder why it's often called the blue planet. Let's just think about that for a moment. I bet some of you have figured it out already. So our planet Earth is covered with lots of water. About 75% or 3/4 of our whole planet is actually covered with water. So that's why our planet looks blue and is often called the blue planet. Those other parts, the green and the brown and the yellow, that's the land and the trees and the soil. But today we're here to talk about the blue parts. So the blue parts of Earth are oceans and rivers and lakes. Now there's one main difference between the water in the oceans and the rivers and the lakes. Let's have a think about that one. What is that one main difference? I think again, some of you have probably figured it out. Oceans are salty and rivers and lakes are freshwater or not salty. So I wonder why the oceans are salty. Well, let me help you learn about that. So when it rains on our planet Earth, the rain hits the land, the rocks and the soil, and what it does is little bits of that rock and dirt break off or dissolve into the rain, into the water. So there's bits of minerals floating around in our rainwater that flows into our rivers. Now all of those rivers flow into the oceans. Now there's two minerals that there's lots and lots of. One's called sodium and one's called chloride. And when those two minerals join together, we have salt. So our rivers are flowing into the oceans with lots of little bits of minerals. And all of those rivers flow into the oceans. And as those minerals go out into the oceans and join together, they make our oceans salty. But I bet you're wondering, if the minerals are floating in the rivers, why are the rivers not salty? Well, I'm going to get you to imagine something. Little bits of minerals in each river flow into the ocean. All the rivers do. So if you think about you with 1 grain of salt coming to school, that's not very much salt, is it? That's not going to do very much. But if every student in every school all across the world brought 1 grain of salt to school, that's a lot of salt, right? So that is what happens with our rivers and our oceans. All of the minerals end up in the oceans and join together to make salty water. Now, our Earth is one big ocean. They are all joined together, but there's actually 5 different oceans with names across the Earth. Now, in order of biggest to smallest, we have the Pacific, the Atlantic, the Indian, the Southern, and the Arctic oceans. So there's 5 different oceans. Now, here in Busselton, we're in Geograph Bay. So this ocean out the window is Geograph Bay, and Geograph Bay is part of the Indian Ocean. So that water right there, that's the Indian Ocean. Now, just south of here, about 100 kilometres, there's a place called Cape Leeuwin, just near Augusta, and something really special happens there. That is where 2 oceans meet. So this ocean, the Indian, and the Southern Ocean meet at Cape Lewin, just near here. So that means most of the West Australian coast touches the Indian Ocean, and some of it, down the very bottom, down the south of our state, touches the Southern Ocean. So two oceans touch with the Western Australian coast. Now, as I said, here we have Geograph Bay. And Geograph Bay is pretty shallow and gets lots of sunshine. So most of the bay is filled with seagrass meadows. But here we have a really special place, the Busselton Jetty, and it creates an amazing environment where lots and lots of really cool stuff grows. So would you like to find out some more about those? Okay, we'll be back in just a moment.
Hello everyone. That's a lovely little boxfish come to the window to say hello. My name's Kerry. I'm a tour guide here at the Busselton Jetty Underwater Observatory. Now Amy was telling you about our oceans and how they cover the planet Earth. The sunlight that goes down into the water helps the plants grow. But here underneath our jetty, we don't get much sunshine because the jetty itself is like a giant umbrella, keeping the shady area underneath the jetty quite dark, but we still get lots of things growing on the piles underneath our jetty. If we have a look closely, we can see there's lots of things growing on our piles. There's things like coral, ascidians, sponges, bryozoans, worms, and these things, they colonise the pile and they make a reef. Now, there's lots of things come in to see us here at the observatory. That one there is a cuttlefish. Now, cuttlefish are very closely related to squid and octopus. Look at him there. He's come to say hello. He's changing his colours. Can you see that? He started off sort of lightish brown and now he's gone quite blue, a little bit browny red as well. Amazing creatures. There's a little scaly fin fish there as well. Now these are the creatures that come around our piles underneath the jetty here. They like to check us out, say hello. Wow, I'm really amazed how his colours are changing. Can you see them? He goes light and dark. Oh wow, that's a real treat to see these guys underneath our jetty. But all the piles of the jetty are encrusted with these creatures, these sponges and corals, and that's what's attracting the fish life and the marine life like this giant cuttlefish. He's not super giant, he's quite small, but that's what they're called, giant cuttlefish. Now I wonder if you've been walking on the beach, you might have found the bones of cuttlefish. They wash up on the beach. It's a good idea to put those cuttle bones in your birdcage. Budgies like to sharpen their beaks on cuttle bone. It's all part of the reef system that's under our jetty, and it is amazing. Oh look, it is so much fun to come to our observatory, to look out of our windows and see what we can see. And there he goes. Bye bye cuttlefish. Looking back now at the piles of the jetty, these corals, so that's these orange fingers that you can see waving on the pile there. There's sponges, they're the big clumpy ones. They come in lots of beautiful colours like yellow and blue, orange, there's pink and purple there. We get ascidians, which are like giant sea squirts, and they'll filter the water through and help clean up the reef by filtering the water through. What else can we see? There's a few fish around, like this scaly fin here. There's some jellies in the water too. They're not jellyfish, they are called comb jellies, but we do see jellyfish from time to time. You can see today that the water is quite blue, so that does help us understand a little bit more about what Amy was saying about our blue planet. You can see the sun is coming down through the water, but it is quite shady underneath our jetty. And that means that all of these invertebrate animals, because coral and sponge and ascidians, they're actually animals, these things can grow on our piles without being smothered with seaweed or seagrasses, or algae, those sorts of things. It's quite a unique environment, and I think it's a great excursion to come and visit us at the Busselton Jetty, either as a school group or as a family group. Come and visit us and see these things for yourself. We would love to see you here at the Busselton Jetty. Bye now.
Okay, how cool was that, learning about all the amazing creatures that live here underneath the Busselton Jetty? Now, if you remember from my video at the start, we learned a few important things about our oceans. Number one, our planet Earth is 75% covered in water, or 3/4, so that's why our planet appears blue. Number two, oceans are salty and rivers and lakes are not salty or freshwater. Number three, there's 5 main oceans over the surface of the Earth, and this one out here is the Indian Ocean. Now, if you'd like to keep on learning about what lives under the ocean, maybe you'd like to do some activities. So you can start with an art activity, and you could build a model of underneath the Busselton Jetty, or another environment under the ocean. You can add sea creatures and seagrass and lots of different things, sponges and all sorts of things. So that's one thing that you could do. Another fantastic activity is a jelly ocean. So what we've got here is some fantastic blue and green jelly and some great little lollies to represent different creatures in the ocean. We've got a gorgeous octopus here made out of red licorice. We have got some beautiful seaweeds and algae and seagrasses, and even, if I keep turning, a sea cucumber made out of a sour worm. So that's another great activity that you could do to practice remembering all the different things you've learnt about the ocean. So thanks for watching today, guys. Really appreciate it. Hope you've enjoyed it, and we'll see you at the Busselton Jetty soon. Bye. Hi guys, my name's Amy. I too am a marine scientist working here at Busselton Jetty, and I'm going to show you a demonstration of ocean acidification. So what Sophie was explaining to you before about carbon dioxide in the atmosphere dissolving into water, making our oceans more acidic. So what I've got in front of me here is some normal tap water, and in there I've got some universal indicator. So as you can see with the pH on the side, that the universal indicator is showing the tap water is about a pH 8, which makes it ever so slightly basic. So this is not acidic at all, okay? And what's going to happen is I am actually going to use my acidic breath to change this to slightly acidic, which is what happens in our oceans. So when we breathe out carbon dioxide. So when I breathe through the straw into the water, I'm going to bubble carbon dioxide into the water, which will dissolve and change the pH of this water. So here we go, deep breath. So as we can see, with 2 deep breaths, that has already changed colour quite a lot. So it's gone from that slightly blue teal basic colour to a yellow. And again, if we look at the pH indicator on the side, we've gone from about a pH 8 down to a 6.5 or even a 6, which means that this water in here is now slightly acidic. So that is a demonstration using carbon dioxide from my breath of exactly what's happening in our oceans with the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere dissolving into our seawater. So that is an activity that you guys can replicate at school if you want to, or at home, to show the concept of acidification in our oceans. There's a few other activities you guys could do just to, learn a bit more about the oceans. Maybe you want to do an art project and build a diorama of a marine environment. Here we have a version of the Busselton Jetty here with some fantastic sea creatures, seagrass, lots of sponges and soft corals on our pylons there beneath the jetty. Or if you're feeling a bit hungry, want to do something in the kitchen, well, here we've got some jellies in a glass. So what I've done here is taken some really cool blue and green jelly, and I've added some lollies to make sea creatures. I made an octopus out of red licorice. We've got spearmint leaves and sour worms as our seagrass and seaweed. And even around here, we've got a sea cucumber as well. So that's a great fun one that you guys can do at home or at school, and then you can eat it at the end, which is awesome. So guys, thanks so much for listening today. I hope you've learnt some new and interesting things about the ocean, about Busselton Jetty and about climate change. And we hope to see you really soon at the Busselton Jetty. Bye.